I felt like a lot of women came up to me and they basically wanted Zarna's life, not just her comedy. They wanted her husband, they wanted her kids.
What?
Of
No,
course.
I mean, like, not her husband.
What?
I,
I literally
Hello, namaste, Auntie Zarna here. So excited. All five Gargs are in the house with the Zarna Garg family podcast. And today's topic, I'm telling you right now that I'm completely against this topic. I don't like talking about this topic, but my kids are forcing me to talk about this topic, and we have to get into it. What it is like to be my child and my husband, what it means to put yourself out in the social media as an individual, as a family, as a group effort. What is involved in doing this, and how are we going to do this? Yeah.
Okay, so basically the way that this topic arose is I came up with this idea for this topic just because I've been getting a lot of questions recently from like fans and other people we're meeting. We just did a pop-up super secret pop-up show that people were talking to us about like, do we feel comfortable being on social media? Does our mom force us to be on social media? We get a very big question every time, are you proud of your mom? Like stuff like that, where they want us to know like what it's like to be in our shoes. A lot of times people ask me, do I feel forced to be in it? I think at the start and generally, like there is a little bit of like pressure to be in it, just because at the end of the day, like it is a business. We are making money,
Yeah.
and like doing this helps promote our brand, promote our family, promote my mom's comedy work. So being a part of it does help that. It helps the audience get more interactions, right? So I do feel a little pressure to be on it, but on the other side of the coin is I do genuinely enjoy doing it. I really do like making the skits. I find them funny myself. I've come up to many of the genius ideas behind them.
oh my
Um,
God.
Oh my God.
and
Wait, what?
and,
Killing himself.
Okay,
and
I knew this was going to be
I-
a hot take.
He got some California sun, and he was like, "I am him."
and I just wanted to put that out there. The therapy idea. Everyone's talking about how amazing the therapy
Well,
videos were.
okay.
And how funny
He
they
does.
were. I
He
did come
is
up with
the brilliant mind behind it, I guess. But
All right, let's
he's
keep lazy
kind
me.
of-
So
he's kind
other
of-
things that we do
he's-
is like
Okay, can you stop for 1 second? He's kind of like the director, and I'm kind of like the star, like main executive
You-
producer, main actor, star
What?
actor.
you were
And
not
it's like mom.
executive
Mom is
anything.
like I'm like the character that everybody wants to see, but mom is like kind of directing everything, and then Didi and Dad are just there, I guess.
Oh, okay. Didi
I
and
agree.
Dad is-
I have to say, Veer, when you do videos with mom, I do feel like you steal the show. I will just say it. I'll just say it.
Don't say it. You're not right.
But so
You
I have a
think-
question. Didi and Veer, do you guys feel pressure to be in mom's platforms?
Yeah.
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 Okay, here's the thing. I think with my case, one thing that I felt really early on is, and this is the main reason people don't post on social media, is they're waiting for a good time. They're waiting for their makeup to be nicely done. They're waiting to feel good about themselves. They're waiting to have a good idea.
Facts.
But
Facts.
in order to post on social media and to build a consistent brand and message on your page, you've got to be ready to go all the time and whenever lightning strikes. Like, there's no good time. And so one thing that I had to get over really early on was like we would have to film really late at night when like I didn't look the best, or when I didn't feel as creative as I wanted to, or when I didn't have that like boom 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 energy, because that is, we needed to post every day. So I think that for me was when I felt the most pressure, was like, wow, I feel like I'm putting 60% of my best self out there online, but 60% of your best self is so much better than 0%, like, and then 100% once every month.
Right. And who taught you that? Who taught you
I
that?
think it was Bridge Revere, if I can remember.
Oh, okay. All right. I see how.
But
I
you know,
actually will
guys,
say-
let's not forget one thing, right? That Bridge was right when he said earlier that what your mother does in her comedy career helps us make money and live a life.
Yeah.
So hence, at some level, it's not just like a fun thing. We do it because it's part of her business appeal. And
That's
the
not
business-
completely. We do for both reasons. Though.
Both reasons, but business is an important part of it. Like when I was in Boston, when she had a show on New Year's Eve, I felt like a lot of women came up to me and they basically wanted Zarna's life, not just her comedy. They wanted her husband, they wanted her kids.
What?
Of
No,
course.
I mean, like, not her husband.
What?
I
I-
literally
I don't mean her husband as in
This is
exactly
not-
her husband. I mean
What
a
husband?
family like hers,
I'm
in
serious.
in totality. They wanted their kids to go to colleges like you.
We're
and to-
walking very tightly on a tightrope of acting like mom is like the center of the universe and everyone should be act like try to be her. To us, she's obviously like very much the center of our universe. But I just want to make sure like the audience knows we're not like saying that any of us are like the smartest people on earth or you should like model yourselves after us. Because I don't want to like I was joking in the beginning when I was talking about like egotism. So I just want you guys to know that like that's not something. I don't even think my mom. Do you think that people should aspire to like?
No.
I think you're a role model.
What?
No.
I want to say one thing on this topic. Another reason why the business part of our social media is important is because it helps you reframe social media as a non-negotiable. Right?
Yeah.
If you are building a business today and you are not on social media at all, then you are not building a business today. Right? Like there's just that is the truth, right? Like if you are building like a tech startup, it's important for you to be on Twitter. If you are building a podcast, it's important for you to be posting reels on Instagram. This is like when billboards first came out into the universe, those big billboards on the highway, and like you could buy that ad space. That's like if Coca-Cola decided, you know what, like I feel really insecure about being seen on the highway every day, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't, it's not an option anymore.
No, I agree. But just segueing to something else that like I think pertains to this topic is I will say there's been many times at both high school, even middle school at the end, because that's what kind of when she started when I was in 8th grade, and definitely in college, a lot of people come up to me and show me videos of myself on their Instagram or TikTok, say some things that my mom has said to me or say things that I've said to me, or just like pretty much I would say some of the time they are trying to make me feel embarrassed. Like I can see it on their face that like they want me to feel embarrassed. Like they're looking to make me feel like I should say, oh, like I don't want to do this. My mom is forcing me or something like that. I think that is something that's definitely been, at least in my life, like I know there's been kids like, then of course there's some kids that are great and just like support and say something like, I found this super interesting or this is great. But there has been a lot of kids that like think that.
That's actually an interesting point, Bridge, because I was just going to ask, what is the downside of putting yourself out there? What are the things you guys worry about? What is the price that we're all paying, you guys are paying? Like, what do you... I know one thing that I worry about endlessly is that you guys will never be able to get a corporate job. I feel like that's a price you guys might pay because companies in America are very, very precious about what they put out. And if somebody has a very public presence, they usually don't want to align with them. I feel very scared that I've taken that chance with your guys' life. But do you guys worry about? I mean, what? Just yeah.
Like, we're honestly all hashtag unemployable now. Like I don't know what to say.
I mean,
She was looking for us to be like, I don't know what she was looking for, but you not get.
Like
what,
we're very
what kind of
unemployable.
answer were you looking for?
but I don't know. I mean, are you okay? You could easily be like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I want to go have a career in a big American company.
Isn't it a little too late down the road at this point?
I don't know. I mean, I worry about that. I honestly do worry about, especially the kids, you know. But I also think if you hang your hat on making a life on corporate America, you're screwed anyway
You're
because
taking risk either way. You're taking a
taking
lot
risk.
of risk
Yeah.
either way. You're taking
That's how I see it. But I wanted to know what you guys say. Like, Bridge, are you nervous? You might never get like a summer internship or a job offer from a big company.
I would say for me, no, just because I've been like very fortunate with everything that like people knowing me because I'm your son and just networking through your fan base. Honestly, like a lot of your fans have like reached out to me about different things or I've reached out to them and it's like kind of built an actual relationship because obviously right now it's a parasocial relationship, right? Where fans think they're building a relationship with us and they are, but we don't really know them. So when we see them in person, it gets that like other side to it. And a lot of these people are very smart, very intelligent. Like if everyone watching this podcast, I would love to have a conversation with each one of you guys and like get to know each one of you guys. It's just like about time practicality that I can't. But the whole point of saying that is like because I have so many connections now, it's like I don't view you guys as like networks or people I'm trying to like get employed by, but it's great to meet other people, right? Get connected to other people, learn about it's a lie in my opinion. I try to stay very truthful on this podcast. It is a lie to act like having a large network isn't something that's real, right? Having a friend base is having a network. Everything in my life once I've entered college has turned into a network. This is like who I know. I'm not viewing you guys as employers or people that I'm looking for a job, but it's someone I know, right? Like if I wanted to travel to California and meet someone, that works now because I know someone in California who can show me around, who can show me the spots to be at where everyone else goes to, like after school. It's very underrated, these like modes of where people are. You want to be where people are. And I know it's actually, this is actually going to get a little deeper than I wanted it to, but what's it called? Going into college, one of the things that I was very nervous about, and I think a lot of people are nervous about, was networking in general because it's so much easier to just get good grades and like stay
Yeah.
low and then just
Yeah.
like go like apply through LinkedIn to like a bunch of different jobs, like say LinkedIn, like here's my resume, here's my cover letter. It's a lot. It actually, for me, even though I love to speak to people and love to speak, obviously, it is very difficult to like go up to a person and say hi, nice to meet you. I don't know why. It just is more difficult to do that, in my opinion, than to just get good grades and like do that. So I think that like this has been a really good opportunity for me to like network in a very parasocial way. Yeah.
Yeah. I yeah, but the price of it might be that like that headhunter from a big tech company might look you up and be like, you know what, this guy has like 100 podcast
And
episodes. We don't need that.
and I agree with you, but actually, I was speaking to a woman yesterday who's a very successful woman, and she was telling me about how like everyone hunts for the hard skills, right? The person who can code well, the person who can do math well, the person who can do science well. But the things that really differentiate you are the soft skills, the skills of being able to speak, to be able to work hard, skills of being able to do the soft things, like the things you don't think about, the things that aren't in a technical interview but are in a behavioral interview. And I think that being part of this podcast has given me those soft skills in a way that other kids just don't have the like privilege to get.
Bridge, not I'm not biased or anything because you know I would never be. But would you say that the whole idea of soft skills has come to you from me or your dad? Like
Oh
not
my
being biased,
god.
but like just
Why are
generally
you
Well,
speaking.
making this
Why does this
so
question have to be asked?
Because you don't appreciate it. Because you not that I'm biased, I'm completely neutral right now. But you, Shalom, don't appreciate it. You are all about get an A plus and learn how to code and be. No, if you can do everything A plus, but you
I
don't
feel
know how
like
to talk to
dad has
human
very
beings.
underrated soft skills though. I feel like dad is a very good
Oh,
speaker.
oh, beer. Okay, all
Veer,
right.
go on, Veer.
No,
oh, he
Okay.
said keep pleasing me.
the way even if it is like mentally manipulative without realizing it, like the slow speaking and the soft tone makes like it's like
Yeah.
being put to sleep by your babysitter or something like
Yes.
while you're a baby.
How is that a good
Yes.
thing?
No, because dad
works.
manipulates.
It
It works. You feel like he's saying something that is so congenial, but actually he's reminding you that he's smarter than you. But you, because he's not aggressive, it feels like, oh, this must just be how the world is. I know exactly, Veer, what you're trying to say. He's a big manipulator, right?
That's not what I was trying to say.
That's what you were trying to say. It's okay. I got it. I read between the lines, my son.
I want to say one point on this because Bridge is bringing up a really excellent point in terms of what it's like to be Zarna Garg's kids or like extensions of her brand. One thing that I think is super important is Bridge believes that soft skills are super important. And other people may disagree with him on that. Maybe you disagree with him on that. One thing I've had to accept in my life as being a part of her brand is people are going to misunderstand you and misunderstand what you believe is true. It's up to you to be committed to that truth, right? Like people all the time, in the same way that Bridge, like somebody will show him a photo of or a video of him doing something with mom. Like people all the time say to me, oh, you're just doing a collaborative post with Zarna, like you don't have the ability to do your own posts, or you're just always going to be in your mom's like shadow. You're, always, you're always doing things together, so you have no sense of individuality. That's their thing. I don't feel that way at all. The way I feel is we are building this family brand together. We've filmed these skits together since I was 16. I'm finally getting comfortable with putting them out in the world. Together we have a bigger platform than individual, and that's what we're doing. And anybody that wants to misunderstand my mission can do that in the same way that they can misunderstand soft skills versus hard skills, which is something Bridge is working on too, right? Like
How did it feel to say all that, Zoya?
It felt great, guys. I feel like I just really let something go to the world.
I don't know why you guys are picking on her. She's
We're
saying the
not
absolute right thing.
I
It's
haven't said
literally my
anything.
birthday. I told you it's my birthday, and I'm still working. But you know what?
Shalab, what is the price you've paid of being my husband?
I mean, the biggest price I would say is to be stopped in Manhattan everywhere. Like, I can't even take a subway to work right now. I feel like sometimes I have to put a helmet on my head to go from Upper East Side to downtown or Midtown because I literally will get stopped in the subway. And because in a subway, you're so such in such close quarters, if somebody asks you a picture, what are you supposed to say? I'm not going to take a picture with you. So it just feels like very impersonal that way, that the privacy has been lost. But outside of that, I don't think there has been a big price. If anything, I've been a beneficiary in every other way.
What
And
about
even
you,
that
Veer?
fame, and even that fame is somewhat nice. I mean, do I want to die a life of complete sort of anonymity versus enjoy being recognized in nooks and corners of Manhattan? Of course, I would love to
Wait,
I
be
think that
recognized.
I
I
want to
think
know what Veer thinks because you haven't
Yeah.
answered. Like, do people
I
come up
want
to
to.
you in
Yeah.
school or send you videos?
Yeah, I have a lot. Yeah. So people don't send me video. I have one friend that does. His name's Adrian. He does that. But besides that, I have people tell me like, "Oh, I saw your mom's podcast," and I'm just like, "Cool," because sometimes it gets annoying because my teacher is like, I don't know, if it's like being introduced in front of the class, that makes me uncomfortable or something. But it's also like I think like, what if I don't look good in this video or something, and they're seeing it? We're also part of the curriculum at other schools. Like, there's people. I was this person after one of my games, she comes up to me, and she's like, I go to this school nearby, and we have to listen to your mom's radio show in class, and I'm like, what?
What?
I don't follow the.
It's
In what,
the school you went to for middle school, Vaya.
Really?
They're
Why did you tell me
listening to her
that?
show.
but what are
I
they
wonder
trying
if
to
they shout me
teach?
out. They better shout me out. Did they shout me out?
I don't go there. So
But what are they trying to teach here through the podcast?
I don't. Maybe just social skills or something. I don't know.
I see.
no, a lot of schools use our podcast as a case study on how to have a family conversation. What people don't do at all today is actually sit around and talk with their own families, which Bridge, in another episode, has not appreciated the importance of what we do on a regular basis. Most people, even with their families, on the dinner table are checked out into their electronics, so there's a TV show going or there's news happening. They just don't talk about everyday issues. So a lot of schools have been sharing our episodes and saying, just take a topic and all of you start talking about it the same way that we started talking on this podcast. So part of it is that. But I would like to say that the one big gift that I've seen of doing what we do is that everybody associates our family with fun and joy. So when they see us, sometimes they don't even know how they know us, but they start smiling because they're thinking of a joke they've seen. They're thinking about a reel that made them laugh. They're thinking about something that got them through a hard time often. And I think that that has been the biggest gift of our journey as a family in the social media creator space. But I want to hear, like, we hear a lot from our followers and our fans and listeners that they are scared of putting themselves out on social media. And I wanted you guys to hear from my family what their fears are. What is there a particular high or low point that you guys remember thinking, I wish I wasn't part of this?
I think the Hulu dance was the high point. I really love doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
We
like
have
the
a
Hulu
dance
dance was also
coming.
the low point though, because
Why?
the nerves, and everything. When we were on stage, it was the high point, but when we were practicing and stuff, it was the low point.
Veer,
And
you know what one of my favorite
before we
quotes
started
is?
practicing,
You know what my favorite quotes is here?
Yeah.
Is pressure is a privilege. People underestimate so much how hard it is to get into positions where you can feel pressured. To even be in that position where we can dance and feel that nervousness on a Hulu live special, like, we're one of a billion people who can do that. I actually want everyone to take that away. Pressure is such a privilege, and if you ever feel like stressed out, that's what I always think at the end of basketball games or when I played football. Like, at the end of football games, I always thought, like, thank God I'm feeling pressure, because there's people sitting on the bench or there's people sitting and knowing they're not going to do anything, and they're like, oh, thank God I don't have to feel the pressure. But it's like, with the pressure comes like the greatness, the responsibility, the you moment where it's like you decide what happens. You're that important that you get to decide what happens. Be thankful for the pressure and work. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's something that I've always loved. And I know LeBron said something similar. He said like know that there's nothing you can do about the pressure to Bronny or something like that.
Are you
And
seriously gonna give the credit of this prolific quote that I came up with to
you
LeBron?
have never said that
Yeah,
quote.
you will give everything to LeBron as if he's your daddy. Like, what are you talking about? I told you pressure is a privilege. Years ago, when you were 10 years old, I used to say it.
I have
I don't
no
think
memory of that.
I don't have
It's
any memory
like
of that either. I don't know where
it's
she came up with that.
yeah. Yesterday, our accountant sent something similar that I want you to expense this to that. I'm like, I have never heard this before. It's like exactly the same way. This is the first time I'm hearing these words.
I I think the high point is when you put yourself out there on social media and you feel pressure, like Bridge was saying, you start to see parts of yourself that you didn't think were possible to exist. Like you start to see that you actually are capable of like waking up at 5 a.m. Like I had one of the craziest days of my life 3 days ago because I'm in charge of selling mom's upcoming memoir. And I'm pulling out every stop I possibly can to get this. Yeah, Veer's holding the
Yeah.
so for 4 months we're in pre-order period, and I'm also in school and I'm also trying to be alive and healthy. And I had 3 back-to-back classes and still closed 1,000 books in sales in one day, and that
In one
required
day?
one day from
Oh
different
my god.
people. Like
Of
we did a
course, but
pop-up,
still.
we did a clinic, we did a bakery, we did like in one day I had
A
like
thousand books, Soya.
1,000, yeah,
Wow.
bulk orders, yeah. And with the combined efforts, I didn't think that I would be able to do something like that. But because I have put myself out there on social media, because I'm developing these relationships and these soft skills, you start to see you start to see shades of your personality emerge that you didn't know were kind of there, but are forced to come out because the pressure is there. So I think that's really cool.
Facts. So would you agree that pressure is a privilege?
I mean, I literally put more pressure on myself than any person I think anybody can even imagine.
Oh my God, I
You're
cannot
the
believe
biggest pick
people
me.
will. Yeah. Oh, we're.
I mean, like,
Okay.
objectively, it's true that I put a lot of pressure on myself. I don't think it's pick me for me to say that. I do. I love pressure. If I don't feel pressure, I feel depressed. So I would rather.
So it's a privilege. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it is.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Be happy for it.
Anyway, this has been, we wanted to open up the conversation on how we feel being out in the public eye, the things we deal with, the high points, the low points. We can't wait to hear your life in the public eye, things that you're worried about. It might be a small, tiny social media account that you're like, I'm too scared of putting this out or that out, and how you deal with it. We can't wait to hear your details. We can't wait to hear how your family deals with your life. Sometimes maybe it's not even a business. Maybe it's like a wedding photo that you put out that one person in the photo is upset about. So all kinds of versions of this exist because of social media now. And this has been an episode of how my family deals with being my family. And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, so too we will end this episode where each Garg will assign another Garg with an A grade. And who wants to go first?
I'll go
I'll go
first.
first.
I'll go
Okay, you
first.
go.
Okay, Bridge, go.
I'm gonna give my A grade to Veer because I think that he had been doing this since a very young age. We all have been doing this since a relatively young age, to be clear. But he's been doing it at a very young age, especially since like when I was his age, I would have felt very insecure doing this.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out that I think that my A grade definitely was.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do
I'll-
the same. I'm gonna give my A grade to Veer for that same reason.
Okay.
I'll give my A grade to Bridge. I thought that quote was so prolific. The privilege of a pressure. That pressure is a real privilege because if you're not going to put yourself in a risky situation where you will presumably feel that pressure, you will never succeed. And not everybody gets that chance. It's like the more extreme example of it is the president making the decision to, announce war. Think about the pressure that person feels.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he only feels that he got to be president, right? So ultimately, would you rather get the chance to be president or to not feel that pressure? I would say the same thing everywhere. So very good comment. And no, your mother did not come up with it.
I came up with it. I'm literally not even gonna, I'm taking to take the high road on this one as I usually do. I am going to assign my A grade on this one to Zoya because it was very, very hard. I mean, she used to shake when the videos used to drop. She used to run away, hide, disable. The amount of times she's installed and uninstalled social media on her phone. And I used to have
Oh
to
my
tell her
God.
to just just put the phone away because we didn't know what to do. And from that to coming to where she is, completely out of it, embracing it, using it productively, it's been quite a journey to watch. And I'm very grateful that it worked out in an amicable, positive way. And not to mention, I'm not a complaining type at all, but I'm just gonna point out that in almost 60 episodes or something, very rarely does anybody in this family actually give me an A grade. I'm just gonna point that out there. I'm
This is
just
my
gonna like,
first, I will say this is my personal first A grade, I think, in 10 episodes. So thank you for that, Mom.
oh, okay. Now you're complaining too. All right. Anyway, we want to hear what you think of our progression, the things that you highlight, the things that you wish were different. Please like, share, and subscribe this episode. Bring others into the fold. We're trying to grow our podcast, and with your help, many, many other people will see the real life insecurities that we deal with, how we deal with them, and hopefully will be encouraged to overcome their own insecurities. This has been a riveting episode of Zarna Garg Family Podcast. Thank you so much, and everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.